Hi, friends. Today's topic: the Civil War's lost opportunities and last chances. Was the Confederate dream of independence always doomed, or did they come closer to winning than we think? Let's take a deep dive into the suspenseful turning points, bold gambles, and missed opportunities of the American Civil War. In 1861, when 11 Southern states seceded from the Union, the world watched closely. The Confederacy wasn't some ragtag rebellion. It had seasoned generals, rich cotton exports, and early battlefield victories. At first glance, many believed the South might actually win. Europe, especially Britain and France, relied heavily on Southern cotton. If either had recognized the Confederacy diplomatically, it might have changed the war's outcome. But recognition never came. Why? Because Lincoln played a political masterstroke. In 1863, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, reframing the war as a battle against slavery. That made it politically impossible for Britain or France, both anti-slavery powers, to support the Confederacy. What looked like a moral gesture was also brilliant strategy. The South's best chance of victory may have come in July 1863. Confederate General Robert E. Lee, emboldened by victories at Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville, took the fight to the north. His army crossed into Pennsylvania, aiming to deliver a knockout blow. Perhaps even capturing Washington, D.C. morale in the north was fragile. A major loss on Union soil could have swung public opinion, but then came the Battle of Gettysburg, a brutal three-day clash. On the final day, Lee ordered Pickett's charge, a bold frontal assault against fortified Union positions. It failed catastrophically. Over 50,000 men were killed, wounded, or missing. Lee retreated south. Many historians call this the high water mark of the Confederacy. From that point on, the South was largely on the defensive. Had Lee won at Gettysburg, would the Union have sued for peace? Some say yes. Others argue the North's superior resources would have still crushed the South eventually. The debate continues. Another moment of suspense came in late 1861, the Trent Affair. The Union Navy captured 2 Confederate diplomats aboard a British ship bound for Europe. Britain was furious and demanded their release, threatening war. For a brief moment, Lincoln faced the terrifying possibility of fighting the Confederacy and Britain simultaneously. Northern newspapers even called for war, but once again, diplomacy won. Lincoln released the diplomats, stating, "One war at a time." The crisis passed, but had the Union stood firm, Britain might have joined the conflict. Imagine the consequences. Southern ports open to British trade, Union naval forces divided, and European troops supporting the Confederate cause. That alternate timeline remains one of history's most fascinating what-ifs. It's easy to forget how close the South came to wearing down Northern willpower. In 1864, with the war dragging on and casualty counts rising, Abraham Lincoln feared he'd lose re-election. His opponent, General George McClellan, ran on a platform of peace negotiations with the South. Had Lincoln lost, there's a real chance the war might have ended with the Confederacy still intact. But then came General Sherman's March to the Sea, a scorched earth campaign across Georgia that crippled Southern infrastructure and morale. It gave Lincoln the boost he needed for victory at the polls. After that, the Confederacy's chances rapidly declined. By 1865, their armies were outnumbered, supplies were scarce, and their territory had shrunk dramatically. Ultimately, the Confederacy's biggest enemy wasn't just Union generals, it was time and math. The North had more railroads, more factories, more men, and a functioning economy. The South had passion and strategy, but not the industrial capacity to sustain a long war. The Union could replace lost soldiers and weapons. The Confederacy could not. Even brilliant tactics couldn't make up for starving armies and collapsing infrastructure. In April 1865, General Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The dream of a Confederate nation was over. Was the South always doomed? So could the Confederacy have won? Maybe, if they'd secured early foreign recognition or won at Gettysburg, or if Lincoln had lost in 1864. They had chances, but each one slipped away. More importantly, the Confederacy was fighting to preserve a system, slavery, that the world was beginning to reject. In the end, moral, economic, and military forces converged to crush their rebellion. Still, the suspense and controversy surrounding those almost moments keep historians and storytellers fascinated to this day. History isn't just about what happened, but what almost did. And when it comes to the Civil War, the line between victory and defeat was thinner than many realize. Viewers, if you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel Stories and More and share to others. Thank you.